this is Noreen from Joya Cards and welcome to my video. Hey, today I'm going to talk about, in my opinion, the best Stampin' Die set in the new Stampin' Up catalog. That's 2024-2025. And it is the Unbound Beauty. Now, it's on page 54. Now, I did not get Flowers of Beauty. I just got Unbound Love and the dies that went with it and the DS paper. And mainly because I'm kind of tired of cutting out flowers all the time. And this is just, when I see things that give me a lot of shapes and a lot of sentiment tags, I go for it. The other thing I look for are words. But before I get into it, if you could do me a favor and like and subscribe, it really does help me continue to make videos. So anyway, but here is the die set right here. And look, you get 16 dies. And you might think, well, they're sentiment dies, but it's like, they're a little bit more than that. So what I did first is I cut them out. So you can see everything that's here. And a die can have more than one use. Like this one right here, you just think, okay, it's just this die, but it has a middle piece. And it can go with this one. And then you've got this die here. This has a lot of uses. And I'm going to show you some cards here at the end. So don't go away. So we've got just so many options here when you just cut it out plain. Now, once we start layering these things together, you can see, and what I did is I took one die and I did it in two colors and I made them reversed of the other one. So you can see how different they look when you use an opposite color. So, and you've got this one here, this one, and these are all ones that have things that inlay. Now there's inlaying and then there's layering. So these layer. Now you can also inlay these. So you've got these two circles here, but you can inlay them as well. And I've done that on one of the cards. So you can stack them. So these are all stacked. This is 3 different dies, but you can take the opposite color of the one stacked on top and layer it on top of that one as well. And even take another one and layer it on top of that and make something completely different looking. So we've got all these options here of cutting. And then there's the negative, because you can use the negative in things and people are making shaker cards and stuff like that from them. This is why this particular die and stamp set is really useful. So here's one card that I use the technique of using the shadow. So what I did originally to kind of line up those circles is I cut out the large circle first. Then I cut down my DS paper to the size that I wanted. And then I used that masking kind of tape, which is the one that's in the teal. So this stuff only sticks like a little bit. So it's great for masking, where this one you kind of is more permanent, but this one is great for masking. So I'll put a little bit of that tape down and line them up. And then when I go to die cut, I take my die and I kind of switch them out. So I know these are all in the right place. And then I inlaid this, the 4 circles. And then for the sentiment, I was really disappointed that this sentiment here doesn't have a die to go with it. It's too long. So I just stamped it and just squared it off. And then I put it up on foam adhesive strips. These things are great, much better than a dimensional because it's nice and thin. So this was really cute. And then I just used the Blooming Pearls embellishments on there. Because right now we don't have any black embellishments. Otherwise I would have used that. And then the inside, here's a perfect example of how I took the 2 circles. So I cut the big circle and then I took the little die and put it on top of the cutout of the big circle and made a frame. So I took the little circle for the rose here and then the frame around it. So this is a really good example of how I use this technique. Here's another card where I took the DS paper and I cut it with the die. And I love the DS paper. This Unbound Beauty is really pretty paper. You know, the thing about the catalog, not a lot of things were really all that exciting, but the paper was beautiful. So when I cut these dies, I layered them. I didn't inlay, and there's a difference. You can see here, this is an inlay and this is layered. Now, I could have taken that die and cut this shape out and then put it in there. That's another way you can do it. So there's so many ways you can really stack up these dies. But then I took the leaves and I inlaid them, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. I will show you 2 examples of some techniques that are really fun. But I went ahead and did this happy birthday card, and then I inlaid on the inside as well, which I'm going to show you in a moment. I've got those brushed brass butterflies. They're also really pretty. So this is another example. Here's my 3rd example. Now, what I did is I did a layering again, but I did something different to this die. Is I cut it out on a foam adhesive sheet. And you don't necessarily, if you ever use these, they're double-sided. So a lot of people will just put the whole piece of paper over the sheet and then cut the die because it's easier. But really, you only have to do that when the die is really intricate, if it's really lacy. And let me show you how you can get the paper on the foam adhesive sheet without messing it up. So here's the large circle, and I cut it out with the foam adhesive sheet, and then I cut the paper. So a trick to do is take your silicone craft sheet, take off the bottom one and stick it on there, and then take off the top. So now it's stuck here, but not completely, permanently stuck. Then you can take your basic shape here and just put it right on top, and boom, and just put it right on your card. That's a really good trick. And here's the 4th card. Now, keep in mind, all these cards on any of my videos are on my website, joyacards.com/shop, and go under cards, and they're all there. They're all for sale. Most of them are like $3. So anyway, in this one, I've really layered it. So this is the die that looks like this one right here. So I cut the frame in the pretty peacock. Then I cut the whole thing again in peach pie, and then I cut it again in summer splash, and then I cut it again in white. So, and then I just snipped off the pieces that I wanted and put it all together, and it turned out really cute. So let me show you a quick trick to inlay like on these leaves. So I took the leaf die and I cut one out in pretty peacock here. And then I took another one and cut it out in summer splash and took it out whole. So I left all the little pieces in there. So the first thing I'm going to do on my paper is I'm going to snail down the leaf just like that. Now I'm going to take my fine tip glue, which I prefer using. I mainly use snail, but when something is real intricate like that, I will glue. So I'm going to take a little dot of glue and put it in all the places where I want the leaf to be. Now, there are places on this leaf that are supposed to be see-through, like there's no filler between the 2 stems here. So, all right, so I put that all in. I'm going to put my lid back on my glue. I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I've got the putty on one side and a little pokey thing on the other. And I'm going to take that die with all the pieces intact, and I'm going to line it up right over that leaf. And then I'm going to take the pokey side and I'm going to poke the holes there. Now, if they don't poke down at first, you probably got it off a little bit. So keep trying to figure out where that is, and I'll go right in and I'll go right on top of that glue. And this is the fastest way to do that. So I'm going to poke all these little holes and I'll be right back. So I lifted this up and some of them didn't poke all the way out. So I'm going to put it right back down there again and line it up and poke where the ones didn't pop in. Now, if all of them didn't go in, you can just take the putty end of your Take Your Pick tool and get the pieces out and just pop them in just like so. Or you can put the die cut right on top and then just push with your tool right into the hole. And now you got a really nice inlaid leaf. And that's why I think this particular bundle is not only valuable, but you're going to continue to use it as long as they keep it in the catalog. So that will do it for me. Thanks. Bye.